This is The Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
4, 5. One more time for me.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
You hear yourself?
1, 2. Yeah.
All right, yeah. The dang fellas in here got my buttons messed up from yesterday. I think we're right. We're ready to go. Good morning, Tuscaloosa, Internet World, West Alabama. How we doing today on this Tuesday? It is the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central, BamaCentral.com. Hanging out with you guys in the Derek Daniel State Farm Studios. You can find us each and every day right here off of McFarland Boulevard with our friends Derek Daniel, Red Reese, and Victoria upstairs as well. You can call them at 205-758-3391 for all of your insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, Derek Daniel is there. Call and see how much Derek can save you today. You want to make sure you're properly insured. Derek will do that, and his team will be happy to take care of you. Whoop, as I get my back straightened. All right, there we go. All right, now we're feeling good right here on a Tuesday. We're going to have a little bit of fun today. Look, we did not talk a lot of Wrestlemania on Monday because we wanted to really save it all for the Raw after Wrestlemania, get the whole 4-day experience, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So later in the program, the Alpha, Alexander Lincoln, the openweight champion of New Era Wrestling. So we're going to talk about WrestleMania with Mason Woods and the Alpha, Alexander Lincoln, about 45 minutes or so into the program. We're going to talk a little spring football. Got some questions remaining after 8A that I want to get into with Mr. Mason Woods. And then we're going to just kind of go with the flow from there. You guys can jump in on the comment section at Joe Gaither 6 if you want to leave us a comment, question, query, or complaint at MAWoods_ on the Twitter machine. You can leave us a voicemail at 205-462-7340, extension 800. We'd love to hear from you. With that, good morning, Mason Woods. How are we doing?
Oh, I'm doing okay. A long weekend.
Oh yeah, you had some. Ramsey's still on the loose.
Yeah, he has not come
Ramsey's
back yet.
kitty cat. We got to get you back, brother.
Yeah. I lost the cat this weekend. He slipped out of the house without me or Melissa noticing, and has not returned, unfortunately. So it is what it is, though. You live and learn. Maybe he'll come back in the next few days. Maybe not. Who knows?
Cats are an interesting animal. I think that, not to be disparaging, not to put fear. He could be gone a minute, but come back next week and be A-okay.
Yeah, I know. I talked to some people who were like, we had a cat disappear for a month and come back. It's like, yeah, it just kind of is what it is. Yeah, but hey, I did get to watch some wrestling this weekend. That was fun. Got to watch WrestleMania. So, I, to be honest, mostly stayed pretty much unplugged from all things Alabama sports or really any college sports because there wasn't much going on.
Right.
But yeah, I had other things to tend to.
Easter weekend, and so
that
of course
well.
you're out on. I appreciate. Well done, SEC. We'll just start right here. The SEC each and every year scheduling the baseball and the softball series is on Thursday, Friday, Saturday of Easter weekend instead of normal Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Nice. So everybody can get back to the families, back to their colleges for their Easter Sunday. Well done. I think that's a nice touch. Does make the weekend a little strange just with the timing, but I think that's a nice touch.
Yeah, I mean for one weekend a year, you can. I think we can probably deal with it.
Oh, I thought I didn't click you in, so I just clicked over. Yeah, you are clicked in. The audio's turned on. We're rocking and rolling. Okay, so we heard from Will Miller on Saturday, on Friday. We had Hunter Brantley on yesterday talking about the baseball team and really their disappointing weekend. We will catch up with Katie Wyndham on Thursday about the softball team to kind of catch up on their weekend and see where they're headed. Mason, how about some football for us? Because, I've got a lot of wrestling on the brain just because of everything that we had. But we need to give the people what they want. Give the people what they want.
What if the people want wrestling?
Perfect. Then they can stick around for about 35 minutes and they can really get deep dive Oh, man.
We do got some football
I
topics.
just found it such an interesting juxtaposition of night 1 and night 2. You
It
have
was.
the undercard of, okay, this is fine, and then just the absolute explosion in night 1 from the main event. And then night 2, the undercard was just exploding off the chart and then just fizzled at the end. So just an interesting juxtaposition to get into at the end. What about football, though, Mason?
Mm-hmm.
What did roll call say today? Because I want to know. All right, roll call has us at how many days? Mr. Will Miller. Will Miller, 121 days away from kickoff. If you don't know what I'm talking about, roll call on BamaCentral.com. We do a daily roundup of Alabama sports right there. And part of that, now that it's the offseason, includes the countdown to kickoff, which is 121 days away. Mason, we have to
that'll go quicker than we think.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I'm bringing this up right here. At 99, we've got to get us a little package together for Lee Tiffin. Was Raekwon Davis at 99 as well, or he was 98?
I think he was 99. I think I want to say he wore 98 in the NFL.
All right, so we got to start thinking about numbered who we're going to honor. You know, we'll incorporate that sort of into a segment, a little countdown. 99 days to Alabama football. Lee Tiffin, blah, blah, blah. Lee Tiffin made 6 field goals against the Arkansas Razorbacks. Blah 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 blah.
You know all about this. You know.
So, you basically did this already for us.
I did this a long time ago. Yeah.
So we're gonna do that again. That'll be easy, like content.
I have to go back and find my old stories somewhere.
It'll be perfect. It'll be perfect. The 1 year where I did it, where I looked for like the strangest number.
It was so hard. Like your 40, 37s or 37's a bad one, I guess, because Sean Alexander wasn't he. But you know what I mean, in that vein of just the numbers that just not anybody wears. There was a lot of
39 is a bad number.
Yeah, there was a lot of names in there where I had never heard of this guy, and I imagine many of the people, if anyone that read it, had never heard of that guy either. But hey, you wore the number, you made the list.
When Eddie Jackson got drafted by the Bears, and they were like, and they gave him 39. Like, I was dead set. I'm buying his uniform. And then they gave him 39. I was like, what is this?
39 is a bad number.
I still bought it, but it's hanging in the back of my closet. 39 Eddie Jackson. That is a disgusting number. Oh, is that the worst number in football? What would be worse? 59 is fine.
47 is pretty bad.
47? No, you got good 47s. Wasn't Pat Tillman a 47?
I don't know, maybe. 47 just don't look good.
John Lynch was 47, wasn't he? Maybe not. Maybe he was 43.
39 is definitely up there. 39 is up there.
I say this, my best friend in the world wore 39 in high school. Now, it was given to him as a, hey, buddy, welcome to the team kind of thing, because just like me, he was average. And so it was, this is the number we got for you. Oh, man, Mason. We got to talk for spring football. We got to give the people a little bit of spring football. So I'm going to steal from my friend Charlie Potter. Charlie wouldn't mind because I want to give him credit. Go visit Charlie Potter at Bama Online. Charlie's got some questions about spring football, and we want to answer them. Just a little bit. He's got 5 questions after spring football, and here we go. Right into it. Will Alabama improve the tight end depth? Oh, I know you listened to the show at Home Depot yesterday.
Sure.
At the back end. We talked all about this tight end from Troy out of Fife.
Yeah,
Brody.
I saw a bit about this gentleman, so maybe I wasn't quite as unplugged as I thought this weekend. I guess you can never truly be, it just comes across the timeline. But no, I saw a little
Brody
bit of
Dalton
information kind of in passing on my timeline about this fella. So, we can get into it.
Yeah, we're talking about tight ends. And
certainly think it wouldn't hurt to just go snag one.
Right.
We saw what it looks like this spring game. I mean, obviously I understand that was a bit of an extreme situation with the injury with the, kind of injuries as they currently stood there. But I don't know what's to say that can't happen during the season. So it certainly wouldn't hurt to go pick up just another guy who is at worst just capable of playing the position.
Yeah, and you take a guy like this Brody Dalton character, and this is exactly what you're looking for, because he comes from Fife, comes from in-state prospect, and comes from Troy.
Those some hard hitters down there at Fife.
The point I'm trying to get to is it's not going to cost you a lot. It seems that the fit the fit allows you to fill the need at a discount. That's what I
think
was
this
trying to get
gentleman
to.
would be pretty happy to be wearing that crimson jersey.
Exactly. Because you're gonna pay him.
Sure.
I mean, you're in the portal. That's just the
And he
nature of the
deserves
beast.
to be paid.
Sure, but the fit and the local nature and the
Sure.
low key nature of the position, maybe it is a need. I do think it's a need, but at the end of the day, if you had to go into the season without an inline blocking tight end, it's not like.
I mean, what do these people think Robbie Oots was making last year? Because it was not a ton, and that's going to be even more than this guy would be, making probably. So
6'5", 250, Brody Dalton.
That's what we're looking for, right?
Junior. He's going into his senior year. Okay, he's all about this University of Alabama school system. Spent 2 years at UAB.
Oh, there we go.
Freshman in 2021, appeared in one game, no stats. This is according to the DetroitTrojans.com page.
Did he transfer because of Trent Dilfer?
Maybe.
I think that timeline's adding up there.
Redshirt freshman in 2022, appeared in 10 games, started in 4, recorded 4 catches for 63 yards, and then transferred to Troy.
If that timeline does add up there, I couldn't blame him one bit for transferring from UAB.
Getting out of there from
I cannot believe that they retained him this season. That's so off topic from what we're talking about.
No, you're fine. It's football. It's all football.
It's just still mind-boggling to me. Seems like the culture at UAB right now is very, very toxic in that football program. I would not want to be a part of it.
Is it? No, I don't. I'm not looking at this, but did they just retain him because it would cost too much to get rid of him and then go hire somebody else?
Happened. I think that's what it was. Just mostly a money thing.
Because they signed him up to a big old deal, didn't they?
I think so.
And so getting rid of him would have been costly. We may as well ride this one out.
Yeah, I've got a few friends that went to UAB and that are still UAB fans. They do not view Trent Dilfer very fondly.
Go Blazers.
My one Ravens friend, he loves Trent Dilfer though,
Does he just handed the ball off to Jamal Anderson and didn't was it Peerless Price on the outside? Yeah. So not turning the football over, letting Ray Lewis eat people's souls.
Yeah.
All right, in 2023, as a sophomore at Troy, he missed the first 5 games of the season, suffering injuries during an off-season car accident. Ooh. Dang. Caught 5 passes for 88 yards in the 9 games after his return.
That's the kind of stat line we're looking for.
Exactly. Pair of catches for 35 yards at Texas State, 2 catches for 28 yards at ULM, added a 25-yard reception at Southern Miss.
I bet all those were big-time first downs, too.
Exact 3rd and 7.
Mm-hmm.
In 2024, as a junior, started the final 8 games of the season, caught 15 passes for 188 yards and 3 touchdowns. 11 of his receptions, all 3 touchdowns, and 152 yards came in Troy's final 5 games of the season.
Okay, turn it on a little bit.
Yeah, so that's been like a little theme, at least through this little bio. Back half of the year, buddy. Back half of the year coming on.
Everybody gets tired. He gets stronger.
Not Brody. Brody's got the juice. Brody's got the goods. Brody Dalton.
I'll take a Brody Dalton on the Crimson Tide this year.
Yeah, Brody. All we're really looking for is about 17 receptions for 184 yards and 2 touchdowns. Of those 17 receptions, 9 of them are on 3rd downs, and we'll take those 2 touchdowns in the red zone.
Sure.
Just on scramble mode. Ty Simpson found you. Other than that, put your hard hat on, get on the end line, and crash the defensive end.
Crack some skulls.
Yes. Pull around, pin and pull around. I love it.
Yeah, no, obviously I have not talked to this gentleman. I've not talked to anybody in his, in or around him.
We need to try to.
But it seems like it should be. It seems like a really good fit for both sides. I would imagine because we ran through his stat there. It's not like he was really lighting the world on fire at Troy. So,
I just followed him,
given the opportunity to get here, and maybe he could have a few chances.
I just followed him, but his last tweet is December 19 of 2024. Oh. One last ride with Troy. He tweets with Troy. I guess this
maybe he's an Instagram guy. Maybe that's what we gotta do.
Business inquiries, NBP management. Corey Williams. All right, so we got to get.
Everybody's got a manager now.
We're gonna try to find that if you get in contact with this. But like to your point, everybody's got a manager. This guy that is tagged has 162 followers. Is managing Brody Dalton, and like
Manager.
the followers, that doesn't indicate.
Yes.
That doesn't mean
Doesn't really indicate quality or anything like that.
he could be the greatest manager
Sure.
ever, but he could be his high school best friend.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times that's what these kind of situations are.
That's like the line. The gray area in between professional manager and my high school best friend is so wide and vast, and that's like,
There's a reason. There's an entire vetting process in the NFL for becoming a certified, agent.
that's what the NCAA really needs.
They need it so bad because, oh man, the amount of and I'm not saying that's what's happening here. Not saying it's what's happening a lot of play, but it does happen. It just really predatory deals on kids that don't really kind of have the financial understanding to know that they're getting screwed because they're 17 and they just see a big paycheck in front of them. It's a really nasty kind of practice with the whole NIL agent and then, college agent thing right now.
All right, this Corey Williams fella does look like, he doesn't have as many followers, but he is tweeting actively. So, and he's tweeting.
He's probably one of the good ones.
Yeah, he's tweeting about Brody Dalton. He's tweeting about JoJo Bermudez, a Delaware wide receiver. So it looks like he's got a few.
Okay.
He's tweeting about Jesus Machado, Tulane linebacker. So it looks like he's got a couple.
That's a good name right there.
Hello.
I would like a Jesus Machado in my defensive backfield.
Would you like him better if it's Jesus Machado or if it's Jesus Machado?
I'll take either. Honestly.
Linebacker.
They're both pretty sweet.
Linebacker Jesus Machado blessing the offensive level, blessing the quarterback with his presence.
He does like maybe a big cross on his face and eye black. That would be sweet.
I love it. So this guy, okay, yeah, he looks okay. He's also tweeting about Warren Smith, a wide receiver, a cornerback from Washington State.
Seems like you got a pretty deep
got a couple
here.
clients, right? We'll have to reach out to Corey Williams, see if we can't get an update on Brody Dalton, tied in. Now, okay, this need for Alabama, we just kind of glossed over it, but rated Mason Woods. 10 being you cannot go through a season. You cannot even start the season without an inline tight end. 0 means, okay, we will never even miss it.
I think you're at like a 6.5 maybe. Where like you don't need it, but man, it'd be nice to have it. I think if 5 is kind of the spot where you're saying like, it could go either way. Obviously, I think 6 puts you in that range where it's like, no, it'd be better if we had it. If you're bumping into that 8, 9, 10 range, it's like, ooh, we kind of need it. I don't think Alabama necessarily needs this. It is not going to make or break this season. Like we just said, we're asking for less than 20 receptions, less than 200 yards, and a couple touchdowns for this guy probably. I do think it will make things move a lot easier on the offense, though, if you do have that option.
Yeah, I'm really asking for somebody that wants to be nasty. I don't even care about the reception. Yeah,
because like that's the thing. Someone's going to do this job. We want it to be someone that's good at this job. I don't want them to just throw in it. I don't want to just be filling the hole there because, well, we got to put somebody in this H-back tight end blocking tight end spot.
Who was the linebacker from Hillcrest that played running back as well? Like a little bit of this, like Holcomb, right? Keith Holcomb.
Yeah.
Didn't he play a little offense as well? I know it was more defense to his last year, in his final year. But I thought he played a little bit of offense as well, just kind of makeshift, like we didn't have anybody that year.
Maybe.
I think because that dude was a above average athlete, but just not a great college football player. He gave his all. Oh my gosh, what a better baseball player. But that's what I'm trying to think of. No, okay. So that's what triggered me. It's like, do you want just an average somebody? Hey, linebacker, we need you to go run through the hole and hit somebody, or do you want somebody who's been doing it for 3 years, 4 years, at least? At Troy and UAB, he's been doing the motions of inline blocking tight end and crashing, arc blocking linebackers and pulling through the holes. Like, it's not that unfamiliar.
Yeah, and like I said, the options, you have some options on the team, sure, if you desperately needed to use them, but why do that if you have the option to just go get somebody for cheap that is good at the position? Right.
You look at these. Look at these tight ends here. Who would do it if it wasn't him? It's Jay Lindsey at 6'5", 358. Yeah. is see, Danny Lewis, I think, could do it at 6'5", 250, but I think Danny Lewis is a glorified wide receiver.
It'd be William Sanders.
Peter Knudsen, 6'4", 245, transfer.
Yeah.
It ain't going to be Cuevas. I mean, I think Cuevas could do it, but you want him receiver. Jaden Hobson. This is a transferee, right? This is a transferee from Michigan, from Mississippi State. Redshirt sophomore. He's from Tuscaloosa. Yeah, from Hillcrest. Did we watch him play at Hillcrest? Oh my gosh, I think we did. Mississippi State, South Alabama, redshirt sophomore. We must have watched him at Hillcrest.
Had to have.
All right, that's another guy, 6'5", 255. So it's not all right. I'm going to lower our need to about a 4.5, 5.
Maybe it's not as bad as I thought.
Luxury. Dang, something just triggered. Oh, Mason.
You know why we don't remember watching Mr. Jaden Hobson? He played offensive line at Hillcrest.
Okay,
looking at pictures now. He had him lined up to tackle.
So this is perfect. This is exactly who you want to do.
This is who we want. This is who, I don't even.
Brody, sorry,
you're out. Yeah. Hate to do that to you. I know we just talked a lot of big good stuff about you, but you'll find your chances somewhere else.
We already got a guy, Jaden. This is perfect. He was Jaden just part of the Walking Wounded, or
it gotta be. Yeah, he had to have just been banged up to some extent that he wasn't. We didn't see him that Saturday.
Yeah, Ryan grew up. It was Jay Lindsey. What you mean? All the tight ends?
No, that's our guy right there. You heard it here first, folks.
Go Patriots. That's right. Hillcrest Patriot. Jaden Hobson takes your inline tight end role. 6'5", 255. Yeah, he's wearing 48. That's perfect.
It is perfect.
That's perfect. Fullback, H-back, inline blocker, skull crusher. All right, Mason Woods. A story we talked about last week. I know I'm jumping all over the place. We'll get back to Alabama questions here in a second. But this
shows today.
Right. It can't. I saw a little thing come down, and I don't want to lose it. Nico to UCLA. UCLA quarterback to Tennessee. Arkansas, Madden, that's the part to me.
How does it feel if you're Nico and your parents named your little brother Madden and y'all both play football? You're like, man, come on, you couldn't have named me like something cool, Lombardi. Come on, man. Y'all always thought he was going to be better.
Baby Gronk. Isn't that Baby Gronk's real name? Madden something?
Yeah, I think that is right. That poor his kid's parents needs to be locked up.
So let's go here. You got Nico leaves Tennessee, takes less money to go to UCLA.
I mean, is losing over $1 million probably in this
taxes.
Deal. Yes, because of the taxes and cost of living that he is going to now in LA.
Unbelievable. And so he goes
all-time bag fumble.
Well, here's the deal. He's not only messed up himself, but you mess up little brother in the process, because this has to be part of the equation. We get Nico. Well, what happened to Madden? We lost Madden. He was at UCLA. Madden was at UCLA. He transfers out of UCLA, goes to Arkansas. Is there for all of last year.
Yeah, I don't think he's taking that job from Taylon Green.
And then transfer. Basically, I think my speculation is UCLA says, "Oh, in order for us to take you, we got to get your brother too."
Their package deal,
right?
Yeah, I could see that.
Totally devalues younger brother. Oh my gosh!
It's gonna be some interesting Thanksgivings in the Iamaliava house for the next few
So
years.
what we need is a Tennessee UCLA bowl game.
Oh,
well, that's what we need. And what will happen is in a Tennessee UCLA bowl game, what's the other kid? Joey
Aguilar.
Joey and Nico opt out.
That would be great.
That's what happens.
And we get Madden. What is Tennessee's other quarterback? Jake Merklinger.
Yeah, Mertz.
Yeah, he was never. He was never going to be a star quarterback at Tennessee with that name. Fans would have never accepted him.
It's all about McIntyre, right? Drew.
Yeah, he's the
Brian.
freshman, right?
Brian. What is his name? The really, really tall kid.
Yeah,
George.
That's it.
George McIntyre.
Yeah, the big time. He was a big time recruit. He's a freshman.
Super tall kid, just like tall, wiry. To me, when I saw him, in person, he looked like
He's listed as 6'6", 190.
he looked like Brody Croyle. He looked like AJ McCarron, but taller to me. Good luck.
Godspeed to you, yeah.
All right, let's take one more of these questions before we
Do
try
you
to.
think that, before we do that, do you think that I understand this has come from Nico's camp, so take everything with a grain of salt from them. Where do you fall on we're actually leaving Tennessee because we don't like the system and we don't think it prepares quarterbacks for the NFL well?
What was the system when you were recruited?
Yeah. Yeah.
Has there been a coaching change? Has there been an offensive coordinator change? Has there been a philosophy change? No?
Nope.
It's the same
They
system.
just don't want to pay you more money now. Now, I do think that the Tennessee system does a bad job preparing quarterbacks for the NFL.
Sure.
But that I don't think had any part.
This is what
in
you signed up for.
They went in knowing that was the case because we're going to get $2.5 million a year. It's okay. And now, when they said, price goes up, Tennessee said, kick rocks.
The additive part of this is the accuracy issues that he had. So you are in a system that says, I agree, not a great system to propel.
It's very built on, hey, here's exactly what you have to do this play. You don't really have to read much. It's this guy's open for you. Go hit it. Nico wasn't able to do that.
Exactly. So you're going to try to go into a system where not only are you having to read things a little more thoroughly,
throw with anticipation.
Exactly. Throw with anticipation. You have to be more accurate. You have to make better decisions. You don't have jokers running 20 yards down the field wide open. It's like, man, maybe you should have stayed in that system.
You had it pretty good. They got Joe Milton drafted.
Exactly.
He's not going to do much in the NFL probably, but he signed a contract.
Hendon Hooker on a torn ACL.
Sure.
On a torn ACL got drafted.
Yeah.
I don't think that argument holds weight. I think it's all. I think it's all PR squirreliness to get out of Tennessee looking as not smelly as they can. But sorry, buddy.
Tennessee looks great here. Not great. I mean, obviously, you still signed him to the deal in the first place.
Right. You created the issue.
Yes, you kind of made your bed, and now you're having to lie in it. But
Tennessee created this whole mess.
As far as how they have handled the situations as it's been presented to them, I do think they've handled it really well. And as unfortunate as it is, I do have to give them props for it. I think it sets hopefully has set a good precedent for the rest of college football moving forward. That not everybody's going to bow to just any quarterback or any player. I don't know. We'll see.
Yes, I mean, I agree with you, but I have a hard time with crediting Tennessee with anything, especially since I do think that they invited this mess.
And then puffed out their chest about it when they won their court case and everything, and sure.
Just more nastiness.
What's going to be the team that does just say, F it, we'll pay? Because it's got to be one of them. The team that just says, we saw what Tennessee did. I don't care. We'll pay whoever. We got the money. Going to be BYU. Is it going to be BYU in a couple years?
BYU and Ohio State.
Yeah, probably will.
And Michigan.
Yeah.
Ohio State and Michigan in a urinating contest with one another.
Yeah, there's no precedent that's been set here. It's wishful thinking. Probably.
No, right. It's because if Nico were good,
I guess that is the crux of everything.
Then it would have been. Oh, I got $4 million.
If he'd thrown for 3,800 yards last year,
I got four right here. Do I have 5? 5.5, 5.5, 6, 6.5, 6.5, 7, 7.5. It'd be bright until you get to Bryce Underwood, $12 million.
You see how fat he looks? Chunky little guy. People are so dumb.
But you dumb, sure, but Bryce, what's I will go there and be dumb. What's his hunger level to be great with the money that he's making? What's his drive?
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Eat right.
I saw many different angles of him. I think he's just one of those people who is
little soft.
No, I
softer
think
on the
he's
edges?
like so beef. Like how some people their gut will, when they get like their abs are so big, like their gut juts. I think he's one of those kind of people.
Okay.
Because I saw a few other angles and like his arms are very large.
That's not anyone I want to tackle.
No, he's he's got that Cam Newton build about him, kind of big, beefy, going to be hard to bring down. might be a problem. I saw some pretty impressive clips from the spring from him.
Mason, it's the 22nd. The portal closes in 4 days. The last thing I want to get to you before I turn to wrestling with the Alpha Alexander Lincoln. What the heck has DeBoer locked them all away?
Has he figured it out?
That's an absurd statement. It's more likely that he's locked them in a dungeon and they can't get to the portal, right? Like, it's more likely.
It'd be crazy to think that they just like their coach and that they want to stay here and they want to be a part of what he's building. Like, that'd be,
no, he just went to every locker, 200,
Bingo.
200, 200, 200. And tomorrow, see you again tomorrow, boys.
Dinner on me, boys.
200, 200. See you again tomorrow, boys.
Yeah,
200, 200. That has to be it.
Man, oh man.
Why is no one in the portal?
I did not anticipate this.
It's nuts.
I truly am, mind boggled by the fact that we've not one player, right? And he was a reserve walk-on guy.
Nolan Ashbury linebacker, and I saw a corner, a walk-on corner, same sort of thing. Here's my practice.
Sure.
Great. Go get your scholarship.
I'm happy for you guys.
Brother, do it right. Do it up. Love it. But nobody of consequence. I'm sorry, not trying. Nobody on scholarship.
It's something. Kalen DeBoer, this coaching staff, the training staff, whoever it is, someone is doing something right. Maybe it's the people cooking the food over there in the dining hall.
Did they steal all their phones?
Right.
Did they steal all their laptops? They can't enter the paperwork.
Ooh, maybe they put a bubble around campus where you can't contact out. They can't reach their agents or anything.
No Wi-Fi gets internet.
Like, they're in a dead zone.
I just simply do not believe it.
I think we have to just believe it.
Has Kalen? You want to go real far? Has Kalen murdered the compliance staff that there's no one to put in like something?
It's incredible. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what they have figured out. But obviously, they have figured something out.
Here's what it is. The new guys, when they gave them the building tour, they only toured the one half of the building where it's all the football side. What's that side? Nothing.
Yeah,
the business side, nothing. Compliance side, nothing. Nothing. Don't go through those doors. Don't go through. I don't get it.
Must be pretty good here in Tuscaloosa, I guess.
No running back. Think that they want more carries somewhere else. Nope. None of the wide receivers are. Oh, I don't know. None of the defensive ends.
Is it because they did such a good job in the spring game, giving everybody their reps, and everybody thinks, "Hey, man, I could play this fall."
Surely there wasn't a rhyme or reason for that 8A. Man,
don't be so quick to fans. Don't be so quick to write Kalen DeBoer off. He is. I understand this is not the Nick Saban way. He's not doing it Nick Saban's way. The ice cream truck at practice, the music at practice.
That's what it is.
Whatever.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Coach says, guys,
weekly ice cream parties.
Promise you can transfer to Georgia Tech. You can transfer to Texas. No ice cream. No ice cream at Southern Cal.
Ain't gonna get no ice cream out there, buddy.
No ice cream at Ohio State.
Look, he's doing it his way, and he has figured it out. I don't recall a time ever when Saban didn't have anybody transfer out.
It's absurd.
It's crazy.
Are we going to make it 4 more days?
It certainly seems that way because, I have to imagine at this
point the market's got to be drying up.
Yes, if you're not in there, if you haven't been in there for the last 10 days, what is it open? It's, somewhere 6 days. Yeah, okay, so 5 days, 6 days. What are you doing? You are well behind the 8 ball here. Like
or you're playing the really long game and you're getting in there the last second for the person who's so desperate who just lost. Maybe I just lost my tackle.
Sure, possibly, and maybe we see one of those on the last day. But man,
insane,
doing pretty dang good. Things are looking up here. I don't know what the numbers are across the country. Obviously, I'm not following other programs as closely as I am Alabama, but I don't think this is happening many places.
No, I don't think so either. I'm very flabbergasted by it. All right, Mason, we will come stronger tomorrow with more Alabama topics. But my whole weekend was consumed by wrestling.
Oh. Man, oh man, oh man.
So let's tell everybody we are proudly sponsored by Warren Tire and Auto, and they've been a Tuscaloosa and University of Alabama staple since 1961. They're in their third generation of family ownership. Warren Tire and Auto is the go-to place for all your automotive needs. Now with 2 great locations to better serve you. You can see them on 15th Street for tires, brakes, and alignment. Call them on 15th Street, 205-759-5505. Or you got other automotive needs, front end work, you got electrical issues, oil change issues, you want to talk about AC issues, really all the other work they handle at University Boulevard location. You can call them at 205-758-2739. That's Warren Tire and Auto, 2 great locations to better serve you, get you in and out and back on the road, back on your life. We appreciate Warren Tire and Auto for sponsoring the program. We want you to check them out today. Let's have a lot of fun, Mason. Let's get educated with the Alpha Alexander Lincoln. We are just mere marks watching the fun of the weekend. But the Alpha Alexander Lincoln is the open weight champion for New Era Wrestling. And their next show is going to be right there in Hoover on the 3rd, May 3rd. You got back-to-back weeks, the 3rd and the 10th for New Era Wrestling. So the Alpha Alexander Lincoln's going to be, tired carrying the weight of the brand and the open weight championship. So let's talk some New Era Wrestling. Let's talk some Wrestlemania with the Alpha Alexander Lincoln. Good morning, Lincoln. How we doing, sir?
Good. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Good. Great. Cool. No, thanks for having me. Always enjoy being with you guys. Like you said, we've got May 3rd in Hoover. We did this in November last year. Really good crowd. Everybody was really into it and they had a strong appetite for it. So we're going back May 3rd. And your tickets, you can get them on Eventbrite. And you just search Clash at the Keystone. And one special announcement, we actually have a promo code specific for your audience.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. So, and enter the promo code and you'll get half off general admission. So general admission is going to be, bring your own chair or standing room or whatever. But the promo code is Joe G, Joe and the letter G, and it gets you half off general admission. So excited to see that. I think I'm going to be defending the New Era Open Championship against Cody Wyndham. I think you guys know who that is. We have a little, it's a little bit of unfinished business.
Yellow belly.
Dating back not just to March, but really even before that, before I got to know y'all. So we just haven't got to settle it one-on-one yet. So we're going to get to do that. And despite how I feel about him, he is an accomplished professional and deserves an opportunity, I think, to win that title back. So I'm going to give that to him May 3rd. May 10th, we're going to be in Parrish, Alabama. So that's near where we were last month or earlier this month. And you can find those tickets. That show is called Unresolved, and it's May 10th. And you can search that on Eventbrite, Unresolved, or search New Era Wrestling. And going to be a really great show. We got some stuff to figure out. Your audience, a lot of people may not know. I know you guys know because you were there. Our open challenge was interfered with by a masked hoodlum.
Me.
Yeah, potentially. I don't know. People are asking me.
I've never seen the masked assailant and Joe in the same place at the same time. So,
well, I'm going to take the ring on May 10th and demand an explanation. And so you guys are kind of newer to the New Era scene, but that music that was playing was the music of Dawson Kimbrell, New Era's favorite son, multi-champion. He's born and raised in Jasper, great wrestler. I can't say for sure that was him in the mask. That doesn't seem like him, but I don't have any information. So I'm going to just show up and try to get an answer to some of these questions. And see, was that Dawson, or does Dawson have something else to say? We're just kind of, go from there and see where it goes. But that one also has a promo code, and it's a little bit different. And sorry for being difficult, but it's RTR25.
Perfect. RTR 25 for Unresolved. Joe G for Clash at the Keystone. Now, I want to start with Clash at the Keystone because Joe Wood told us that was a big benefit to really community service event. Really, I mean, obviously it's an entertainment event, but it's for the people. Tell us what the heart of the Clash of the Keystone is about.
Yeah, the Keystone Club is a meeting place for those that are in recovery from drug abuse, alcoholism, that type thing, which is something that is close for both me and my brother. And so we've been able to, I give Joe all the credit for this because this is kind of his backyard. But essentially the way this works is, there's a flat fee to put on the wrestling show, and that's X dollars. And so the promoter gets paid X dollars, and he provides, the ring, the wrestlers, the music, the whole show. And every dollar that is earned over that fee amount, 100% stays with the organization that we're raising money for, in this case, the Keystone Club. So I think when we did this back in November, we were able to, I think we wrote them a check for about $3,000. So it was a nice, it was pretty good little haul, I thought, at least. I mean, $3,000 didn't go as far as it used to, but so anyways, it's a great way to raise money, and it's a great time for the people to come out and watch a fun show. So we've done similar things like that for schools, like for booster clubs or things like that are trying to raise funds. So, but that one specifically, Keystone Club and recovery, is really close to me and Joe. So we hope we can continue to do maybe a couple shows a year there.
That's the Keystone Club in Birmingham, Alabama, for the Clash at the Keystone on May 3rd. You can use our promo code Joe G on Eventbrite for half off your general admission. I'm so excited about that. That is going to be an exciting thing. We'll see how many people we can get up there. Oh my gosh. You had your hands full at the last New Era wrestling event. You had basically a open challenge, and it was met by Mr. 1985. There's no way the Masked Man was working with him, was it? I know it ruined his chances as well. I know it ruined his shot at the title as well. But what has he told you? Obviously in the back you're both disappointed. The match is interrupted. Was he acting interesting? What was his take?
Well, I think that's a fair question. I think, the older I get, the happier I am to be wrong. And I never assume anything really anymore. But I do feel like with Bubba Cagle, he's going to shoot you right between the eyes. And so and he had an opportunity there that was squandered. So I think he feels the same way I do. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised if he's not in the ring with me when I try to figure this out, because he had just as much on the line as I did. So I don't think so. You never say never. And I would say that to Bubba's face, and it's nothing personal. But I don't think that's him this time. I have no idea. We're on the road to our anniversary show in June, and it wouldn't surprise me if a number of people were trying to shoot their shot, as we build to anniversary.
We're hanging out with the Alpha Alexander Lincoln right here on the Joe Gaither Show, and we're talking wrestling, New Era Wrestling, along with the Wrestlemania weekend. Goodness gracious. So, Clash the Keystone, you're going to get the Alpha Alexander Lincoln searching for answers. You're going to get him defending his championship against Cody, right? Cody Wyndham. Thank you very much. We saw him right here in Tuscaloosa, really kind of running away from Rhino and the Alpha Alexander, trying to get a sneaky win, and that's where he lost his title. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's talk about Justin McKenzie's plans, the Misfit. Will we see the Misfit on the 3rd or the 10th, or both?
Well, I can tell you, I know for sure, and this is breaking here. Okay. So I don't think this is public. The Misfit will be at Clash of the Keystone, and he is one of 4 participants in a fatal 4-way main event to name the first ever Keystone champion.
Oh yeah.
Love that. Oh,
that's going to be
awesome.
awesome.
So the participants are Justin McKenzie, the irredeemable Aiden Andrews,
Chop Master,
Yeah, Sleazy C, Caden Newton, and last but not least, the failsafe himself, Joe Wood. So
I think that
Fatal-
sounds like a
That's a
great
good lineup.
a great group of four.
yeah,
I don't know
fatal
who I'm
4-way main
taking.
event. I don't know. I think that may be coming out today, but you're breaking it right now. So,
You heard it here first, folks.
yep.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So
Act now.
excited. Absolutely. It's going to fatal four way.
I might have to be riding with Joe Wood in that one.
Wood. Okay, so a couple of times he's been out there. I've yelled Plumber Joe. Is that an affinity? Is that a good nickname, or is that a hey man? We need to stop that. We need to cut that out.
I think my opinion on that is, whatever gets a reaction from people, is something. I think he's had. Not speaking for him. As a matter of fact, we need to just get him on here. I think y'all would enjoy visiting with Joe Wood about a lot of topics, but definitely wrestling and definitely probably football. But he, I think the failsafe was something that was kind of born out of Pro South, and he's had a couple of nicknames that have kind of come and gone. So I like Plumber Joe.
I just
Maybe we can have him do like the old thing where everybody used to just have a job, and he can bring it back.
Yeah.
Oh man, so I don't know how many hours of wrestling I watched this weekend. I got SmackDown in, I got Stand and Deliver, night 1 and night 2, and then last night,
Stand and Deliver.
dude, you did. They put the main roster to shame. I'm sorry, but Stand and Deliver, yes, it was early on Saturday, not early. It was midday. But Obafemi just Alabama graduate, former Alabama track star, and really triple threat master. I mean, goodness gracious. It doesn't matter if there's two guys against him. He takes down Javon Evans and Trick Williams. For a second there, I thought, okay, we're going to see Obafemi go down. But then he kind of had a real big explosion towards the end.
He's a monster, dude.
So Joe. Yeah, go ahead, Alpha. I'm trying to let this throw it to you.
I thought he was gonna. I didn't think he was going to get pinned. I thought somebody else would get pinned, and they were going to try to maybe bring him up to the main roster. That was a way to, get the belt off of him. But no, that was not what happened.
Absolutely, and that was what I was thinking as well. What did you enjoy most, or what are some of the things that stood out to you from the weekend?
Okay, well, I think. Just being brutally honest, night 1 of WrestleMania was, with the exception of the main event, was kind of underwhelming. I felt like, I thought that I was really happy for Jay to have his moment. That was cool. I think Charlotte and Tiffany just looked a little off. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm being picky, but just seemed like they didn't. I don't know. Just seems like they weren't connecting in some way, and I'm speaking just as a kind of a mark myself right now. I don't know. I thought night 1 was underwhelming. Other than the main event was obviously great. Those guys are all really, really good. And I'm a big fan of the Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman alignment. So I think that makes a lot of sense.
We've got to get the Alpha Alexander. I mean, it doesn't work with the character as well, but if there's ever a day that you have a bad day, we can work you into the Dangerous Alliance.
Yeah.
you probably be standing against them now that I think about it, but maybe if there's a bad, we can work you into the danger. I'm excited to see that revive as something that, from my I was 3, 4, 5
right
when that happened. I would love to see that revive.
I saw someone Photoshop Paul Heyman into a Seth Rollins outfit, and that's what I need to see. I need to see him come out there in just the most ridiculous looking suit that we've ever seen. Oh man, I agree with you. Where night 1, it felt up until that main event just a bit underwhelming. It felt like really the crowd wasn't that into it. And I guess that's maybe kind of where I want to go. Does it feel like the with the pricing and everything at these events now, are these crowds more just like celebrities, people trying to go there for the event, less than actual wrestling fans who are now attending these events?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think that's definitely a thing. I don't know. It seemed like, the crowd at night 2 was a bit, I don't know. You assume it's the same people or largely the same people. I mean, when I went to WrestleMania 40 last year, we were sitting 2 nights in a row with all the same people around us. So I don't know. I also think I was telling my son this that WrestleMania 40 was epic. I mean, and it was just like the culmination of 3 or 4 years worth of storytelling, and it just I don't. So I think trying to come off of that and do another. You're not gonna. Not everything is going to be the best one ever, right? And
that was a tough act to follow.
I think it was a tough act to follow. I think, if I'm being honest, night 2, I felt like the opener, the women's triple threat, was great. I mean, I far exceeded my expectations because I didn't really understand the build. But now I do. The build was all about, really putting over Io Sky as, stop, because I feel like everybody just knew that it was going to be Rhea or Bianca, and it never was. It was not the plan. That was not the goal. And so I really loved that match. I thought Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest match was really good. And then I thought, who else? What else did I like? AJ and Logan were good. The women's tag match was cool with Becky Lynch coming back, just a neat. Oh, and then Joe Hendry. That was Joe Hendry was a great spot.
That was awesome. Oh, I love seeing Joe Hendry.
People are like, well, they buried the TNA champion. I'm like, I don't understand. I mean, if you're the TNA executives, when your champion was just on WrestleMania. I mean, that's pretty serious to me. So
yeah, he got to do 2 to 3 of his, little themes. He got the Joe Hendry spin two times, and then led to the RKO. I mean, it was perfect. It was just, it was such a feel good moment. I loved it.
Well, I can tell you this, and I always, kind of gauge what my kids like when I'm judging whether something's successful. And they both got the Joe Hendry song on their Spotify things now. The song. So I think it did what they wanted to do there.
Well, the mystery opponent always kind of, I mean, not to go inside, but always had to lose, really, to make it work.
Right.
And so are you going to make Rusev lose, who debuts last night? No. Are you going to make Aleister Black lose? No. 100%. Are you just going to throw the Miz out there and nobody cares? Like,
well,
it was perfect.
My pick was Nick Aldis. My pick was Nick Aldis.
Great. Yeah, and, that would have been great.
Because he could have gone out there and taken the loss and it not hurt him, but, got his moment because, if you're not a big wrestling mark, Nick Aldis is a very accomplished professional wrestler in the NWA. I mean, he wrestled Cody Rhodes at All In. The big show they did before they really announced AEW, he wrestled Cody Rhodes for the NWA title. He was the champion. It was a really good match. Let's talk about, the main event. I was so disappointed. I just don't understand. And it's not that Cena won. I don't really mind, I just don't get the Travis Scott angle. And maybe that's me and it's personal preference. I don't understand.
Were your sons into that aspect? Because I don't understand that aspect either. Maybe your sons were.
No, they don't. Well, and they're too young maybe to really get I mean, the guy's obviously extremely accomplished and famous and all those things, give him all the credit in the world. But it just feels like if that was going to be a part of the finish, he should have been a part of the build, and I don't, it was just that one off that night. No Rock. I just felt like this entire Cena turn could have been done without The Rock and without Travis Scott. And I feel like I posted this on my X account. I was like, I strongly believe that The Rock found out about the Cena heel turn creative and decided, I'm going to just put myself into that, just to have like a moment or something, and then left. That's almost what it feels like. So I don't, it was just kind of disappointing, I don't know what I was expecting, but I didn't, and Cena is a step slower in the ring, which I think everybody knew, which that doesn't really bother me because you're telling a story and Cody could kind of carry the load. But it was just kind of underwhelming to me. That's all, and those things happen.
I agree with you. I thought especially about The Rock, and, it really does. And I saw a lot of other people kind of saying similar things to kind of what you said, where it just feels like he shows up whenever he wants and just says, "Ooh, I'd like to insert myself here. You better write me in." And then for whatever reason, WWE bends their knee to him and allows it to happen. And yeah, now here we are, however many months later after Elimination Chamber, and The Rock was nowhere to be found on the biggest event of the year. It was disappointing.
He's posting Instagrams from Hawaii that he's just relaxing,
posting his cheat day meals or whatever, where he eats 300 pancakes.
Right.
Yeah, I was disappointed. I thought the match was fine. Fine. The match was okay. The Travis Scott thing, I also don't understand. It feels like,
would the heel turn not have worked better if you get good John Cena, face versus face, everybody's happy, icons of the industry. You get into the match on Sunday and Cena realizes, ooh, I can't beat this guy. I can't beat. Here's an AA. Here's a move. Here's all the hits. You can't see me, and I still can't beat this guy. Here's the low blow. Here's the belt shot.
I don't disagree.
And just shock the crowd right there. Oh my God, what are we watching? WrestleMania finale. Oh, and then now I'm the last world champion, leaving with the belt, and you'll never see me again. Blah blah blah.
Right. I don't disagree with that at all. I think because I still feel like Cena as a face was, the arenas are going to sell out, and I feel like every week, everybody, this is just my opinion. I feel like everybody was just disappointed week after week on the build because we're like, why did you do that with The Rock? Like, can we get some explanation as to why did you side with The Rock? Why this Travis Scott alliance? Like, when Travis Scott's music hit and he comes out, Cena's grinning ear to ear like it's his best friend coming. And I'm like, we don't understand. You know what I'm saying? So that part of the story never got told in my mind. And I don't know if that stuff, obviously WWE's been bringing in celebrities for a long time. So maybe it sells tickets or has some metrics in a way that I don't understand. That could be definitely true. I was almost like, if you're going to bring in somebody, bring in Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny gets in there and works.
That's exactly what I told Joe last night.
Yeah. So,
and
anyways.
I think he would bring in more fans than Travis Scott would. Like, and maybe this is me. I'm
wondering where's the age? Because if it's not Lincoln's sons, it's not me, it's not Mason, who's about 5 years younger than I am. Where is the Travis Scott lane?
Travis Scott was huge when I was in high school and like early college. Throughout college, though he had a good 6-8 year run there. He's kind of fallen off now with my age group. No, I don't really know a lot of people who are constantly, hey man, you listen to that new Travis Scott? Like nobody really cares about him that much. I know kids don't care about him because they don't care about anything like that. They're consumed by other YouTube now. So it's just, I don't understand who it's for. It feels like they have a very, I don't know, like just the wrong idea of what kind of, popularity Travis Scott brings. Bad Bunny is like internationally a megastar. I understand in the U.S. he may not be as big, but in the rest of the world, he's huge.
He did backlash a couple years ago.
But to that point, to the wrestling fans that didn't know who Bad Bunny was, he endeared himself because he showed up and worked. And put on a show. And now it's like, okay, so he took that opportunity and he really made it, versus Travis Scott just coming out and slapping Cody in the face and then not being seen for 2 months and then comes back and takes the crossroads or whatever. So
he says he's training full time, but it's like, okay.
Hey, maybe. Hey,
sure.
Like I said, prove me wrong. I'd love to be wrong. Maybe. What did you guys think? I know both of you guys are big Gunther fans. What were y'all's opinions?
I knew that was going to happen. We talked about it, I think, on Friday. We kind of expected that to happen. Still disappointed though, and I thought the match
him out in 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna talk you through my opinion on the psychology of that finish. Okay.
Please, yes, please.
because I thought the same thing initially, but the more I thought about it, if I'm booking it, you're thinking, okay, this is, Jay can't overpower this guy. This no one can, right? And so, his plan going into it, in my opinion, would be, he hits 3 USO splashes on him, right? And so every one of those, well, he hit a spear and then 3 USO splashes. Every one of those moves takes the wind out of you, especially the splashes. So if you're Jay, I'm going to get all the air out of his body and make triple sure it's out of his body. And then I'm going to lock in this choke. And I think that's why he taps so quick, because if you're thinking about it, if you take those splashes 1, 2, 3 in a row, there's no air there
It does make
to
sense.
breathe. And so he was already he had been struggling for air, all that time. And then you lock on the choke. And so
there we go.
That's just the way I think about it. It's not, because I saw a lot of people saying, well, he tapped him out in 10 seconds. I was like, well, yeah, he did, but there's a little bit more to it than that, I think. So that's just my opinion.
They kind of set up the quick tap.
That's right. Okay, that's good. I was just glad that he choked out Pat McAfee last night. He made Pat McAfee turn purple.
I enjoyed that whole segment. I thought that was all because McAfee had his whole crew over there. They were, I mean, that was cool. I enjoyed that. I really like, Joe Testor came in and filled in. I think Joe Test is like, to me, his voice just puts legitimacy on us. You know what I mean? Because like, this is a guy that calls, obviously college football and lots of other things. I like Joe Test.
Yeah, the last half of the show just feel so much better. I'm sorry, Pat, but I'm just
not a fan. Never will be.
It's too much. And so when he gets walked to the back and starts coughing, I'm like, oh, we're about to have a really pleasant last 30 minutes here, and we did. So I'm hopeful that maybe we scale Pat back just a little. I like his energy. I love the passion, but it's just Wade Barrett saved the commentary this weekend, in my opinion.
Wade Barrett's good too. Yeah,
so good.
Let Pat McAfee go out in the crowd.
I go back and forth with McAfee. I mean, I appreciate what he brings. I mean, I think that he found his niche in this
certainly
in this world of sports where he just I feel like he asked a lot of questions that maybe other people are afraid to ask, and he's not
because he's high.
But I do like Joe Tess on there. I think he does good.
If you missed Cena yesterday, Mason, on Pat McAfee's show, Pat goes, "Oh, you still got it, man. You still got it." And Cena goes, "That's because you're stoned all the time."
Yeah,
like, thank you. I'm glad someone said it.
Paul Heyman was a riot on the Pat McAfee
Oh my
show.
God! Paul Heyman tried to get the Pat McAfee show canceled yesterday.
I hope he does.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll have Paul back after that. That was.
I don't know that ESPN will have Paul back after that period.
Yeah.
What's your a long-time wrestling? Well, Alpha, what's your take on Paul Heyman? Obviously, the Paul Heyman we've seen over the last 3-4 years, wise man Paul Heyman, very subdued. Well, what's your opinion of him really as a character and what we're about to see?
Oh. Well, I had never thought about something like this, but what he said yesterday really kind of struck me. He talked about how, Roman Reigns was the big dog. That was his gimmick prior to the tribal chief. And, Paul Heyman and he together kind of came up with this new character. And so look where Roman is now. And that was in 2020 when they started that. And he said, Seth Rollins is where Roman Reigns was in 2020. And we're fixing to take, we're going to another place. And so it's hard to imagine, like, wow, if you think about it like that, if he could do something remotely similar to what he did with Roman, what could Seth Rollins be? So I'm excited about it. I mean, I think, Heyman he's been around since I was a kid, and he just seems to change with the times.
How much money does he owe you?
Yeah, exactly. He changes with the times, and he just evolves and adapts, and he has just he just has a mind for it, and so he'll be, I don't know, I always think about like Bobby the Brain Heenan, and I think about Paul Bearer and others. I don't know that Heyman's not at the top of that list at this point. I mean, I don't know who you could put above him. So I'm a big fan. I think he always adds something to, I mean, here's the deal. The main event give him credit. There was no title in the main event. The main event was for Paul Heyman. That's what they were wrestling for essentially. So
Custody match.
Yeah, it was. So I enjoyed it.
3 triple threats over the weekend. One to close Stand and Deliver, one to close night 1, and one to open night number 2. Obviously, 3 different sets of really big stars. Which triple threat did you enjoy the most? Lincoln, did you enjoy the end of Stand and Deliver? Did you enjoy the Roman Reigns triple threat? Well, I guess Seth Rollins triple threat, or the Io Sky triple threat?
Well, the women's triple threat, probably, just from a standpoint of, I don't know, I was kind of let down from night 1, the whole of the show, and they just opened it with a bang, and I was just like dialed in the whole time, and they never stopped. Obviously, I loved the main event, but I think it was for different reasons. It was a much, they were telling a much bigger story, and it was a little bit slower pace. So I enjoyed the fast pace, the way they kept, like, the women triple threat was like, that should be your opener. That's how you open the show. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Just, flying all over the place. And they were just dialed in. They were ready to go. That'd be my pick.
We're hanging out with the Alpha Alexander Lincoln, talking about WrestleMania, talking about Clash at the Keystone on May 3rd. We're talking about Unresolved on May 10th. 2 different events for New Era Wrestling. We want to see you up there at the Clash of the Keystone in Birmingham. And you said Parrish, Alabama, for Unresolved. Goodness gracious, all my memories going crazy. So we're excited
so
about
we
those.
have Parrish, Alabama is Unresolved on May 10th.
Perfect. Parrish.
Promo code RTR25.
Perfect. And promo code Joe G for Clash at the Keystone May 3rd in Birmingham. A little fundraiser event for the Keystone Club. Are you worried about losing Damian Seratone to the Dangerous Alliance? Because that's actually, I know we just teased an alternate version of the Alpha, but no. Damian seems like a perfect case to leave New Era Wrestling and join Paul Heyman's Dangerous Alliance.
He would. There'd be a lot of people around New Era would probably be okay with that.
Oh
no! Damian is great. He's a great performer. I don't agree with his methods, and he's become, significantly more dangerous, I think, with the Dragon in his corner. I can say that. I hope to get back to work with him again. The last time he and I wrestled each other, it didn't go my way. That was in, I think, June or July of 24. So just stay tuned, hopefully we can circle back to that soon.
What did you make? You already mentioned Becky Lynch, but you've got negative backlash of, oh, she stole Bayley's spot. Bayley gets pushed out. Becky wants the payday. XYZ ABC wants the belts, wants the moment. What's your take on Bayley, Becky Lynch kind of intertwined there?
Oh man, I don't know. I think politics is a part of wrestling, especially at that level. I think it's tough for Triple H. Vince, when Vince was running the show, the WrestleMania card would be, the show would be 6 hours long, and he'd have 14 matches in one night. But one of those matches would be an 8-man tag match. Another one would be, just however he could get, they'd have the Andre the Giant Battle Royal on the show. So he was always, it seemed like Vince always took steps to try to get as many wrestlers on the card as he possibly could, because there's they say there's a big, like, WrestleMania payday if you're on the show. Triple H has a different philosophy. If you'll notice, all the major PLEs like SummerSlam, WrestleMania will have 6 to 7 matches on a show. The ones that are the normal shows that aren't the big ones will only have like 5 matches now, and each one of them kind of gets time to breathe and to do their thing. And so I feel like Triple H has kind of set a precedent for, not everybody is going to be on every show. I do hate that for Bayley. I'm sure she was probably aware of that creative going into it. And then, she got some big moments at WrestleMania the previous year, winning the title against Io Sky and having the Royal Rumble. So it's kind of, sometimes it's like, I guess you get your shine, you get your moment. Maybe you might have to sit out the next one. That's just kind of the way it goes. I wouldn't be surprised if she's, I think she's one of those. I've seen you. I was telling my kids about this. These guys that have towed the line over the years are consistent, and girls, they're consistently rewarded. I think Bailey's one of those people. When you think about people that like the Miz, okay, Sheamus, and there's many others that have just taken what they've been given and ran with it and tried to make it good. It always comes back around for them. The Miz is kind of down the line right now, but I guarantee you he will be back up at some point wrestling for the Intercontinental title or something like that. That's going to be a thing. And so I think Bailey's going to be fine. I'm sure she was probably disappointed not to be on the show, but I wouldn't be surprised to see her, have a big match at SummerSlam, because I think Becky's the one that took her out. So, if she ends up if she ends up wrestling, if it's Bailey versus Becky for the women's Intercontinental title at SummerSlam, is she still upset? So I don't know. We'll see.
Speaking of people who are maybe disappointed they did not make it on the show, I know he technically did, but didn't get his main moment. Karrion Kross went scorched earth.
Yes.
After what was it, Saturday night? Saturday night, yeah.
Sunday night, yeah.
Goes scorched earth, at the microphone, and it felt like it got a little real.
Oh, the wife, the wife dropped the real name, Kevin.
The look there, and he said no. That was, it got a little heated.
Kevin.
I mean, I guess just really, what was your reaction to what he said? Do you agree with what he said? Do you think, kind of like I was saying, like some of it, a little bit of real got out there? Do you think it was mostly all just setting up storylines? What was your reaction?
I don't know. If I had to, my opinion on it is that he believes everything he's saying. But the best stuff in pro wrestling is when you can blur the line. And I think there's a lot of times when they want you to do that, when they want you to, what's real to you and bring it in and let's tell that story. And I don't think there's anything wrong with what he said. And I totally understand how they could feel that way. Did you guys watch the WrestleMania 9 documentary on Peacock?
It was great. That was so fun.
So what I always think about when people start talking about, these stars and people getting left off of cards and, I didn't get on because Logan Paul got booked and I could have got booked instead of him. I thought that documentary was really interesting because that was they were bringing up the new blood, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, all that. And the guy that was I guess in charge of ticket sales is saying, yeah. And, our main event's Bret Hart and Yokozuna. And, after a weekend of sales, we'd only sold like 1,000 tickets. Then all of a sudden everybody's like, maybe we ought to call up Hulk Hogan, and they called Hogan up, put him on the card, sold out, and so that's the business component to it. And that I thought was very interesting. And I'm kind of tying that into what Karrion Kross was saying. There is, there's this business side of it that, there's lots of people that count on WWE to pay their bills that work there that aren't just wrestlers. And, they've got a responsibility to do the best they can do from a business standpoint. I think ultimately, look, Karrion Kross was on WrestleMania in a way, which I thought was a good sign that, okay, they are bringing this along. And then he was on the show last night doing the thing with AJ. He's calling him Alan, which is funny.
Remember who you are, Alan.
Because I think that Kross has the look, like he's got a look. He's obviously really good in the ring, and he's got no problem cutting a promo or talking. And he's got his wife who's great, and then he's got a really cool entrance. Like, he has all the pieces. They just got to find they've got to like put it all together in the ring in a story somehow. So
we just got to weave him together with every person he's ever turned heel and face. Just like
we've got to have him bury Logan Paul through the ring.
That would be, hey, that, if I was him, I would be trying to get to Logan Paul every way I could to try to work with him. So
with
say
his
what you
little
want about
tops
Logan
patch.
Paul. Logan can put on a show, and that's what they're in the business of doing.
That's a guy who the kids do actually, that's, unlike Travis Scott, kids actually do know Logan Paul, and a lot of them care about Logan Paul.
That's true.
Are the Lincoln children Logan Paul fans? Oh, he shows the prime bottle. Okay, yes, they are Logan Paul fans.
They're Mavericks.
Absolutely, hit him with the Intercontinental title.
Yeah, that's where we'll go next. The Intercontinental title. I loved this match. I was very excited for this match going in, and they completely hit me with a curveball. Did not anticipate what was going to happen, but I thought that Dominic Mysterio getting his moment was awesome. He got a massive crowd pop, and I kind of just wanted to get your reaction to that match, and then also to him getting that reaction from the crowd.
No, loved the match. Really loved it with Dom. I think he's done as good as anybody could have, as good as anybody can do. That's in that shadow, which he's not really in the shadow anymore. He's just totally blown that away, in my opinion. I'll be curious to see what the crowds are like after, the WrestleMania crowd and the Raw after WrestleMania crowd are, it's all the smart marks, and it's all the people that cheer heels. So it's not like, I'm curious to see what kind of reaction he gets when they go to Memphis, Tennessee, or, back in a normal crowd environment, if he's going to get the super heat that he's been getting or not, either way, it's fine. I'm curious to see which way they go with him and Finn Balor, because if Balor, does that turn Dom to a face? Are they going to, I don't know what they're going to do, but I enjoyed it. I really like Penta a lot. I think he's just added so much to the show. I think his brother's really good. I think when Dragon Lee came up, I think maybe there was hope that he would be kind of the one to toe the line in the luchador spot, and I don't feel like that ever connected. And then obviously Penta has really connected, so that's because if you're WWE, you're thinking, okay, Ray is, I don't know how much time Ray's got left, but you want to find that next person because from a business standpoint, Rey Mysterio sells a lot of masks,
I had
a lot of shirts and a lot of masks. And so you want to replace that revenue, right, when the time comes. And so I think now they've done it twice. They got Penta and Phoenix. So
it was a lot of fun. WrestleMania weekend. We're hanging out with the Alpha Alexander Lincoln. We're talking about New Era Wrestling, the Clash of the Keystone on May 3rd. We're talking about Unresolved on May 10th. So I had a lot of fun talking wrestling. What happens next, the Alpha? Really, from a business standpoint, it's Saturday? Saturday was the announcement. The WWE bought or partnered with AAA Wrestling in Mexico. You've got really sort of the AEW and WWE almost operating two different monopolies here. What's the state of the business after WrestleMania weekend? Obviously, we're focused on New Era Wrestling, and we want to grow that as much as we can here in Alabama. What is the state of the business as a whole after really the biggest weekend of the year?
Well, I think it's really great. I hope maybe next year you guys get an opportunity to go to New Orleans and see WrestleMania week, or the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, because the pro wrestling world descends on that city. And so there's indie shows all over the place. There's WrestleCon, which is the big, meet and greets with all your favorite stars of the past. And so you can really get a feel for what the business is like, I think, during WrestleMania week. It's a week-long wrestling party. You're beat after it, that's for sure. I don't know if it's a concern, that I have, but when WWE absorbed WCW back in the early 2000s, it really hurt pro wrestling business, in my opinion, because we had no competition, it just, and I think there's history that shows it wasn't a great deal. So AEW, I'm not a huge fan. I don't watch it a lot, but I do like competition of some kind. And, so now WWE's got a partnership with TNA, and they've purchased AAA. I just don't want to see a world where everything starts getting gobbled up by the same group. I don't think WWE is going to buy AEW. Um, but I do think they're trying to corner the market, if they can. Um, they've done partnerships with Noah in Japan, and obviously TNA. I mean, AEW's done some stuff with New Japan, so I'm all for the partnerships, like the crossover, and the sharing of talent in certain respects. I think that's very healthy and I think that's something the fans want to see. I mean, wouldn't you love to see Seth Rollins go work a match in New Japan against or something like that. So I think the business is healthy. It's good. I'm not a big fan of acquisitions. I hope that many of these can kind of stand on their own and continue to do what they do. Because I think TNA was getting really hot before WWE stepped in with the partnership. I mean, they were doing really well for what they do. And I feel like AEW may have maybe starting to turn a corner. They're doing smaller venues and they're selling those out, and so it just looks a lot better. Will Ospreay I watched his match against Takeshita, and I don't know if y'all
He's an
watched
artist.
that match.
He is an artist.
Those guys are crazy. I mean, I'm not crazy. Like they're just amazing in the ring. They just got to put some stories together, is what I think, and have some continuity. They don't have that. They don't have that guy that drives ticket sales. If you're a smart mark and you want to go see just crazy matches, then that's really what AEW is, in my opinion. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just enjoy the stories better.
You gotta do something with Kenny Omega to make him more of a character. I mean, he just the wrestler, unbelievable, but just make him a little more interesting to me. And I think they try it with Mox, but Mox is more into the hardcore, and it doesn't work to me as much.
Omega was great as a heel when he was with
Yeah.
Don Callis. He's not a great face.
Yeah.
And I would have. Yeah, so I agree with you on that. I think it was very telling. I say this: Kenny Omega will be in WWE whenever he can be, in my opinion. I thought it was very telling when he came back from his year-long injury that he had his first match in New Japan, which I understand he came from there and he loves New Japan, but like you blow your big return on not the I mean that would be like I can't like if Seth Rollins was out for a year and then returned and did a show at TNA, like I don't get that. That was kind of telling to me, like what was more important to him and how does he see himself in AEW? I don't know. And I have no evidence for any of that. I'm just speculating.
Well, it was a lot of fun, and we're looking forward to continuing the fun at the Clash of the Keystone on May 3rd. You can check out the Alpha Alexander Lincoln against Cody Wyndham. Check out tickets right now at Eventbrite. They're half off if you use the promo code Joe G. Clash of the Keystone in Birmingham, Alabama will be going to help the Keystone Club, and you guys can be there on Saturday, May 3rd to watch the Alpha Alexander Lincoln take on Cody Wyndham. And goodness gracious, fatal four-way at the end of the night, featuring several of the New Era stars. I cannot wait for that. So really, really looking forward to the Clash of the Keystone. We'll follow it up with Unresolved on May 10th. Right there, Parrish, Alabama. You can use promo code RTR25 on Eventbrite for that. Lincoln, it was a great time catching up with you. We went a while. We need to do it again. We need to have Joe Wood. We need to get Joe Wood one day and the irredeemable Aiden Andrew. We got to set up this fatal four-way here. We got to find out how juicy this Keystone Championship is, how much it means to these fellas. So that's probably my next step.
I think we can facilitate that. So I'll be in touch. I'll get with Joe, and I'm sure he can work it out.
That sounds great. Mason, anything else for us?
No, I think that's all. I think I've gotten all I got today.
Lincoln, thanks so much for your time, sir. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Y'all have a good one.
Absolutely. That's the Alpha Alexander Lincoln joining us from New Era Wrestling, the New Era Wrestling open weight champion. We cannot wait for the next two events for New Era Wrestling, the Clash of the Keystone on May 3rd and Unresolved on May 10th.
Whew. I do have one more before we get out of here.
Yeah, man. Go for it.
I saw a lot of discourse about this online. The amount of ads in the ring and the amount of, video game deal wearing stupid outfits to walk in the ring. Like, It really was kind of overboard this weekend, I thought.
It's TKO. Welcome to TKO has bought WWE.
Whoa. And, you know, I don't even, there wasn't even a WWE logo in the middle of the ring. It was some game that I've never heard of in my life.
It looked like a Call of Duty logo, but it wasn't Call of Duty.
Yeah, it was. I looked it up. No one knows what that game is. It's like not like a
phone
popular
game.
Yeah, it's like some stupid, 2D, not 2D, but like
VR
side by side fighting game. It's not like a third part. It's like Mortal Kombat. It's just a knockoff of that. It looks stupid. Oh yeah, no, that really bothered me. And I'm usually not one to get super annoyed by that because when like teams did the patches on their jerseys and stuff, I was like, who cares? Whatever, it's tiny. But this was not tiny. It was like really obnoxious and kind of distracting at times.
I think the pace of the Saturday night show lent you to be annoyed by that because the pace was not that great for a Saturday night.
Yeah.
But Sunday night felt like a damn roller coaster. I never noticed it one bit. I needed a 10-minute like promo package of just here's Slim Jim so I could take a deep breath and go use the bathroom and just because the triple threat I mean, it was just they went triple threat, Drew McIntyre, and then fatal 4-way, and I was just like exhausted.
I mean, I didn't even watch most of the commercials because I started both nights 30 minutes late, 40 minutes late. So I was able to skip through a lot of the commercials. Like just the in-ring ads and the like, what was it? Not New Day, the other tag team that
War Raiders
coming in dressed as like Clash of Clans. It was like, what are we doing? They look,
they always are like that.
But they have like Viking stuff. Did you like their outfits look so bad? They're so corny and lame.
Yeah, they used to be the Viking Raiders.
And they have cool, like good-looking Viking attire that actually people have worked on and put not like foam pads that look like it just looked goofy as hell. I don't know. I did not. TKO, you're ruining a good product by flooding it with ads.
I also didn't love the stage. A lot of people made a big deal of it, and like, okay, the WrestleMania stage.
No, I didn't like it either.
Has been a thing.
The pyro was too high.
Yes,
you couldn't see it.
You got the pyro 10 miles up, and you can't see anybody.
Wasn't enough pyro.
Like Drew McIntyre stood on that rock and did his pose, and then like the pyro was like 20.
You just heard it.
Right. It was like we don't even know where this is.
Yeah.
We don't even know where to direct our eyes. But not only that, to your point of corporatization, we sold seats and suites in the stage. So I don't know. I don't think that experience would be very nice.
I wouldn't think so.
You're in a suite in the stage. And like, what's the sound like in there as the pyro's going on? Like, what's that? How is the
hot?
Yeah, you're watching through a glass. I don't think that experience would have been very nice, but I'm sure that they sold it for millions of dollars and people bought it up. And
we probably got a full buffet in there, though. Server bringing you drinks. They probably didn't care too much. They probably weren't there to watch the actual wrestling anyway. The people that were in those seats.
That's the thing that disappoints you.
And it's the same way. It's this way with
Super
just
Bowl.
about every event now. The NBA Finals is turning into this. Every major sporting event has become this kind of way because they want to get as many eyes on it as possible. And if we get a bunch of celebrities to come, more normal people will watch it.
Did you fast forward through Stone Cold on Sunday?
See him hit that woman with the ATV, or hit the barricade that then hit the woman with the ATV.
Oh, he was hammered. He missed the ramp on to get in. Like, they've got a ramp to get you in. He didn't even make the ramp. And they're like, all right, back him up, put him on the ramp. He gets in, and then he smashes into the barricade. And that lady just like totally.
Dude, I would have been.
She Kobe Bryant did it. She Messi, the Cristiano Ronaldo falling all over the place.
Dude, I would have been. I mean, you'd have thought I died. My neck. Oh, Stone Cold, why would you do that to me?
I'm the next green shirt guy.
Yeah, I'd have been collecting a pretty paycheck from the WWE on that night.
Yeah, I'm the next green shirt guy, front row, front and center every time.
Yeah, there was that was funny. I'm trying to think of if there was any other moments that we didn't get into with the Alpha Alexander Lincoln, but I think that was really it. My gripe with the ads is the last thing I had. Kind of popped into my head there.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that Dominic Mysterio, I hope that crowd pop was a genuine crowd pop and not just a we're the WrestleMania. I think it was because, him leaving and then running back out there to get his second taste of it. Like, I really like that. I would love to see them set him up for maybe a face run now against Finn Balor now that it's something.
I think it's natural because Dom was the heel we like to boo because we know you're supposed to boo the heel.
Yes.
But like Dom is such a okay, from what I've seen through the TV screen and computer screen and phone screen, seems so genuine. He seems like he cares about the business, like he cares about his friends, like he cares about putting on good matches and being with the fans and upholding kayfabe a little bit. I mean,
he does it more than anybody else in the company.
He and Ray still act like they hate each other.
Now, immediately he was doing his press conference and talking about my deadbeat dad. You mean? Oh, it's great.
But I think that genuine people I think they like him.
I think they do too. Yeah, I really enjoyed that him getting his moment there. That was really cool. I hope to see more of that in the future.
They won last night, defended his title already. Won last night with a little Judgment Day help. So
yeah, I'm interested to see where the Judgment Day goes.
Oh, they're all going down the tube. It's going to be Dom and Liv and Raquel all together, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to make JD McDonough choose between Finn and
oh yeah, because he made his return last night. Didn't
right,
he?
Right. And Carlito is going to get left out in the cold. Nobody's going to take Carlito.
His apple.
That's right. They're going to send Carlito to some Puerto Rican promotion that apparently they've got some partnership with.
Yeah, AAA, is that the one they?
That's Mexico. Okay. I don't know what they've got going on in Puerto Rico, but all these partnerships.
Yeah, I'm with Lincoln on that. I'm not a fan of the monopolization of everything and us just buying up everybody. I know that is kind of how the WWE got started. But like it was a little different then than it is now.
Absolutely. Competition is good for everyone. All right, let's get out of here for the day. We will return to Alabama athletics all tomorrow. Really.
Hopefully we have some stuff to talk about.
Well, if we don't, we'll come up with something. We'll make some things up. On Monday, I basically played, since you listened to it, so you heard this.
Mm-hmm. I remember this. Well.
I played Scared Straight with Caden Proctor. Let me tell you about Iowa. Let me tell you how no one cares about football. Cornfields as far as the eye can see.
I bet it is dull out there.
So we'll figure out some kind of game to play tomorrow. If no transfer portal player go in, goodness gracious. I think if nobody goes in the portal this period, that should be as much of a victory as winning the Iron Bowl to these Alabama fans. I'm sorry, but like that feels like hyperbole.
Nobody will recognize it as such because, it's all about what's on the field. But no, you're completely correct. That is one of the most it's one of the most massive wins you can have as a program right now in college football is not having anybody transfer from your team. It's insane. It is unheard of.
Right. I'm just shocked at even, I'm not putting this on you, but even backup transfer third string linebacker XYZ, like last man on scholarship hasn't gone in the portal. It's nuts.
Thinks he's got a chance to play, I guess.
They got a team retreat out at Lake Tuscaloosa. There's no internet access. They're all riding the jet skis and coaches. Hey, more jet skis!
I did see this weekend Ryan Williams. Apparently, Ryan Williams has 2 TikTok accounts.
Yeah. One's a burner,
and it's not even really a burn because like he puts his face on it and like it says Ryan Williams, but it's just not his name, Ryan Williams. It's like an emoji or something is the profile name. But it popped up on my feed. They did spend some time at the lake, the team, this past week. It looks like there was about 3 or 4 videos of him and the new wave pod crew tearing it up at the lake. So maybe that's what it is. Kalen DeBoer's hey guys, look at all these amenities you have.
One more day on the lake, guys.
Look at what you'd be leaving. This is what you have.
They just fill these 2 weeks up with all kinds of team activities. We're going bowling tonight. We're going to a team movie tomorrow. We're going to Chuck's on Thursday. We're doing Pop Stroke on Saturday. Guys, it's going to be great. Everything. Like, we're doing Shindig on Sunday. We're all going to go to team church on Sunday first. Team church, then we're going to team lunch, then he's just filling these 2 weeks up with just activity.
Have time to think about the transfer portal.
Coach, I got class. No, you don't. No class. Coach, I got a test to study. No, next team activity is community service, Habitat for Humanity. Look at how big of an impact you're making on the community right here in Tuscaloosa. Only us at the University of Alabama allows our players to get involved in the community this way.
He's doing something right.
There's got to be something. I don't know.
Right. He is doing something right.
Is it, hey, everybody just hang out in the academic center and these lovely ladies will do your homework? I mean, that seems nefarious, but like, What is it?
I think they just like him. I don't think it's all that crazy. I think
No.
a lot of players, and this is going to sound, a lot of people aren't going to want to hear this. I think a lot of players didn't like Saban. I think a lot of players played for Saban because they knew where it would get them. I think a lot of players do like DeBoer.
Ooh. Harsh, but I have no argument.
I mean, come on.
I have no argument there. Oh, man. So we'll see how it continues.
Yeah.
We got to get out of here. We're going to have a great day. You're going to have a great day. You've been listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon, the Bama Central YouTube channel, everywhere you get your podcast. Subscribe, rate, review the show, send it to a friend. We'll talk to you tomorrow on the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central and BamaCentral.com.
Thanks for joining us on today's edition of the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. Keep up with Joe on all his social media pages at Joe Gaither6. Subscribe, rate, and review the show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and be sure to read us daily at BamaCentral.com.